Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to Algodu tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf. Wow, that voice crack, jeez.
And Marbula 1 continues. Yeah, oh my god, voice crack central right there. Waff, are you out of puberty yet? Out of puberty?
Like my throat's kind of tightened up there. It's
yeah,
ugh.
That happens. Drink some water, man. Drink some water. Speaking of drinking water,
all right.
Like couple weeks ago, I don't think I mentioned this here. A couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I just got really dizzy at the end of like an evening one time. I was just doing work later into the evening, like some physics or whatever. And I don't know if it was stress or just I didn't drink enough water that day, but I just had this attack of dizziness and I couldn't do anything the rest of the night. It was like crazy. I couldn't like organize my thoughts at all in my head. It was just all over the place and thoughts were racing and I couldn't, like, it was the weirdest thing ever. Like all your thoughts that you've had in the past week going through your head at the same time. It's crazy feeling. So, drink water, guys, because I'm serious. I've been actively drinking water, like making sure I drink a couple bottles a day since that happened, and I haven't had it happen again since. So, hydration's important because if you don't hydrate,
it is,
and you don't do that a lot, then you can actually the lack of water can actually give you that dizziness factor. So be aware of that, guys.
Yeah.
That's my little advice for you today. And yeah, the dizziness thing was not fun at all. It was just, wow, felt so weird. I was scared there. I was like, oh my God, am I dying? Which was overkill, but still, it wasn't easy to get through.
Yeah. I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, soda's all the way. But now that I'm an adult, I honestly, I think water is my preferred drink just because it doesn't leave a strange aftertaste ever. So like sodas and stuff like that, whenever you drink them, after you're done taking your sip, you kind of, at least really for me, I kind of feel like that dissatisfaction, it's like to get to drink more, like it always entices you to drink more, because it wasn't right. That last bit wasn't satisfying enough. Whereas water, it's just water.
Yeah, it's so tasteless that it's functioning as its purpose, and it's not leaving this weird taste in your mouth, right?
Right.
No, I agree with that. I'm like a mix. I love soda. I mean, classic Coca-Cola is my favorite. I just love drinking it, but I also drink a lot of water because, sometimes you just crave water. Your body just needs something refreshing. So you got to mix it up. You can't just drink soda all the time and be like, okay, well, part of soda is water, so it's okay. No, it's not how that works. So yeah, drink many things. That's what we're saying. Yeah. So, we got a lot going on this week in Marbula 1. Wow. I heard there was another Dion thing that Waff will talk about. Waff will introduce. So I can't believe this guy keeps doing things. I mean, what? I'm assuming you didn't hear last week's show, but it's he's got to chill it out. He's got to keep the purpose and the goal, the mission really is the word, and the presence of JMR and the channel and the videos and the community. You got to keep that in mind first before he does things that may compromise the outcome of that. So, enough of that though. I think Johnny Marble is raring to go with the news. So let's see him get to that, and we'll see you after the news with a lot of Marble Sports talk, primarily Team Primaries, Marbula 1 Racetrack.
Hello, Marble Sports fans! I am Johnny Marble, and as always, I'm coming to you for MSW. We got a lot of news, so let's get right into it. GP9 of Marbula 1 Season 2, Pallet Park was a short yet speedy course that really tested the Marble's agility and control. This course featured some of the closest racing we've ever seen with marbles, constantly swapping positions, the most notable of which being Waspy from the Midnight Wisps, who started in dead last, but managed to fight their way to the front of the pack. They were so fast, in fact, that they nearly lapped Limeline on lap number 22, but they managed to block Waspy, resulting in a blue flag. It was down to the wire, but in the end, Waspy still managed to take first, followed by Speedy in a very close second, and Smoggy 3 seconds behind in third. Perhaps the most surprising result of this race, however, is that for the first time this season, the Crazy Cat's Eyes didn't get a single point. Although they may have just been taking things easy this time around, as only 3 other teams even have a shot at beating them in the overall standings. And with only 3 races left, that chance is a slim one. These final races are sure to be incredibly exciting, so you better not miss them. Well, hey, we got through the news, and look at us. We bonded a bit more. I'm Johnny Marble. You, my dear listener, are the best one in the world. Let's kick it on back and continue now with the podcast.
We have returned from the news, everybody. Thank you, Johnny Marble, for bringing us the news this week. It's very busy this week. A lot of Marbula 1, a lot of new things going on in marble sports, like the new, the weird, what is it, the Snow Marble Rally partnership deal thingy, right, Waff?
Yeah. So like it's in I forget what is the language that they. I believe is what's their language that they speak?
Dutch. I don't know.
Dutch. Yeah, Dutch.
No idea.
So apparently there's a Dutch collaboration with Marble Rally, and like it's going to involve snow. One of the I think one of the hashtags is #RunDeFunk, which might be what the thing is. I don't know. Another one is Stefano Kizos. So maybe
You're
that's
having
also
trouble with those names, bro.
Hey, I don't know how you pronounce a lot of Dutch things, so I'm just trying my best. But like that's interesting to know. Finally, like we were right. They're like, yeah, they changed the name from Sand Marble Rally to Marble Rally, and they're gonna do things that aren't sand related, which is wonderful. It's great.
we imagined something a little bit different, but yes, they are doing that a little bit. It's good to see that kind of weird stuff though. There's that extra kind of stuff going on besides just the normal couple of tournaments. So yeah, it's good to touch on that. But as we get into the episode today, I do want to remind you a couple things. First off, remember to check out the Racing Marble League. We're going to touch on them for about 5 minutes today. The channel is great. I think the first video came out great. It was a tryout video, so a lot of time trials, a lot of, we're trimming down marbles from like 47 to 20 for the main event. So, things are getting going, but I think the quality is great. I'm of course doing the commentary, so the commentary, I can't really give a great, a bad, or a good on that. It's whatever you guys think. However you guys think I did, but I think I did pretty well, I think. So, but it's just the quality and the structuring is all just very awesome. The track design is actually custom made, so really worth checking out. Also, don't forget to check out use the MSW podcast email, mswpodcast@gmail.com, and email into us pretty much anything you guys want. You can email us about marbles. You can email us about, ask us questions, give us advice, ask for advice, just whatever, tell us random things or talk to us about serious marble topics. We want to engage with you guys who listen weekly as best we can. So we want your emails. With that being said, we're going to cover a couple small topics early in the episode today, dodge into some trivia real quick, and then we're going to get into the bulky episode with Pallet Park. So hang on for a little bit, and then we'll really be covering the main Marbula 1 race a little bit later in the episode. So with that being said, Waff, take us away. Explain to us the other thing Dion had to do in this past week.
All right, so for those of you who don't know, Dion made a tweet, and
that's always a mistake. Made a tweet. As soon as that's happening, it's a mistake. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, and it was like a clip of what I can only assume was a little skit that happens in one of the future races in M1, and what I didn't find out until after watching it, because I thought it was just really great. I enjoyed it a lot. Apparently, Dion had released that without asking permission from anybody else, like in the JMRC or anything. So it's like basically he leaked footage ahead of time without getting the permission to do so. I'm not gonna actually say what the skit is. So like, if you wanna go in blind, I don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil or ruin that for you. But like, yeah, it's interesting. I remember one of his replies that like people asking him like I think someone said something about like on the lines of Jay why are you doing this against like Yellow's channel? And it's well, we kind of own it 50-50. So like, I guess in his eyes, like, he has the right to post something if he wants to. And, like, the skit doesn't like spoil the race or anything, so like it's not something too detrimental to the overall experience. It's just that like it is something that like would have probably been better if I had like was watching the start of the video and then I saw this happen blind, I guess. So like
right, yeah. And I think it's the principle of it. You can't, even if you're the head of your channel, JMR is not just a one-person operation anymore. That is true. It's not even an argument. It's definitely not just a one-person operation. So you can't just do things without checking with anyone else first, even if you're technically the owner of all things JMR or the co-owner. You gotta check with the community. And you should be asking other people, staff, things like that, what they think about certain decisions. And I just think that should have happened. Dion should have been like, okay, well, I had the sneak peek. I think it'd be cool to post. What do you guys think? Should we post it? And even if they were like, yeah, it's a great idea because it doesn't really affect the outcome of the race. It's just a little skit and, the race is still the race. But just them knowing, just them being able to also approve of that kind of stuff. It builds that trust. It shows that the organization of JMR, all the people working in it are together in what they're doing. They are cohesive in all of their decisions. And it's just the image. It's the image of it where it looks like Dion's doing his own thing and everybody else in JMR is doing something else. And that can have an effect on how people view the channel or people view Dion. And in my opinion, Dion is extremely important. And I have to be honest, without Dion's existence, JMR would not be where it is today. I guarantee you that for 100% sure. And that may sound odd to say, but there is Gel makes great videos. He does amazing things, but his mind is not made, nor does he really have much time for this, to do all the business side, to do all the advertising, to keep the social media as active, to do all that extra stuff that's required to keep JMR as awesome as it is. And Dion is there for that. He does all that, and he or at least delegates that out to the JMRC a little bit as well, but he is the reason that stuff happens. And so if there's a bad image on him, that's going to affect how Dion's viewed, and that could be bad for the future, especially when you need Dion so badly. So I'm really hoping that Dion and the other people in the JMRC and just JMR are going to be able to work things out and just have a good kind of focus going forward about working together and keeping each other updated on what's happening and letting other people give their ideas, because that's going to be how the JMR organization is going to keep a good image outside of the videos, which is extremely important.
Agreed. Yeah. This one, unlike the last week's drama, this wasn't anything malicious. This was just him, I think, being excited, and showing off something. And it is a cool skit. I won't deny. I really like it. I think it's very fun. It's a nice little skit. But I do agree. He really needs to communicate with the team on this, because if stop surprising them with stuff, because otherwise it's just gonna be they're just gonna keep getting surprised by things and won't know how to react, and it's yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. Communication is key. Communication keeps things together. Even if things don't always go well, even if people don't always get along, the fact that you're communicating is going to be the way that you sort that out and keep everyone feeling like we're at least working together. So that's extremely important. I can't, there's no other way to stress that. I hope Dion, maintains a good level of maturity here, and doesn't get too, outside of the comfort zone of everybody else. So, this is not a huge deal, again, this particular moment, but it's just the principle of what could happen going forward. I mean, that trust is a nebulous area that is built and destroyed very quickly, and it needs to stay good between all the organization members. So, with that being said, We're going to not dwell on the Dion thing the whole time. But I do want to touch on one other thing real quick, and that is the Racing Marble League. I don't know if you guys saw the first episode, and you know that I'm going to tell you to go watch it. It's good marble sports. It really is. I saw it, of course. I commented it, and probably a bunch of you have seen it. I just thought it was well done. I mean, yes, it was 47 marbles for a time trial, so I agree that that's long to watch. Mm-hmm. You have to remember that his style is a little different than JMR's in the sense that he's letting 47 different people in this case, or 46 because someone has 2 for some reason, send in marbles. Okay, like pay to sponsor a marble, and then those marbles are then raced, on the track. And of course, only 21 are going to make it into the main event of 6 straight Marbula 1 type races. I don't even want to say Marbula 1 type races, circuit type races.
Yeah, that's a better description.
And so to give everybody who's paying for marble their time of day, he's doing 4 tryout events. So that might seem like, wow, that's a lot of qualifying events, but I think it's important. I think it's good that he's giving that time to everybody who sent in a marble. That's why there's so many marbles, and I think it's really smart because you're letting the community, and at least those 47 particular viewers, they're going to be really focused on their marble because they paid to have one in there. They're investing in a competitor in the race. So I really thought I really like how he's doing it. I think that I'll let Woff comment on this as well, of course, but I think the track design was pretty good for the time trials. I think there's so many. See, this is here's the thing. JMR, of course, does a great job, but I think the Racing Marble League takes it further as far as actually having things on the track that change things up a little bit. Like if you look at the first race, of course he had like 2 sectors, and the second one was the single file rail, which I think was okay for the time trials. But that first sector with track pieces, they're first of all custom made, but he has so many different little features. Like he has that highway section which branches out into being twice as wide as the normal track, which is really cool. He uses attenuators too, like JMR does, little chevrons, things like that. He has pieces of track that are purposely bumpy. He has pieces of track that have certain 90-degree drops. He has those pieces of track that have grooves on the center to create lanes within the track. Just a lot of, in my opinion, a lot more creativity as far as actually within the track piece themselves. And that's something that I really like to stress. I think is a really big deal and just a really exciting part of this series. Not to say JMR doesn't have great racing. It's just that the one thing I want to see from them is more of that direct track involvement. And actually, when we talk about Pallet Park in a second, there is something that I saw in particular for Pallet Park that I did like, so there's going to be some positivity there. But Woff, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's really great. I remember when I started the video, I was very confused. Like, wait a minute, like, how are they going to be able to pass each other on the Corsetti rails? And like, oh, wait a minute, this is time trials. Okay, I see. But then, like, in regards to the tracks, I do love like how much variety there is. Like, it allows them to create so many different scenarios. Like they can create like almost like a rough like off-road quote unquote section of a track if they wanted to for more like deserty themed thing. Like this, and like it allows for so much more interesting track designs that the limited Corsetti tracks can't really do, because like while JMR has actually been implementing some more things like that giant bank turn, like as far as I'm aware, that's not Corsetti parts, that's like their own plastic that they've maybe been 3D printing possibly. But like just the Corsetti rails, well, the track itself is not even like flat. Like it's like got these grooves in it, which I've never understood what the point of those grooves were.
Never understood either. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, because like the marketing image I've seen, like it's like a flat track that's on the ground. It's like, what, do they expect the kids to push the marbles along the track? Like what? That's what, like I've never understood this.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be for like really really young kids, and like you just lay the track on the ground and they just push it over, and like it's imaginative play. It's like pretending.
I see.
Even though it makes so much sense to just use it as Marbula 1 stuff. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, I'm sure Corsetti is extremely happy that what happened with their track has happened with their track, because do you know how many people, even in my small circle of marble sports community awareness, I've heard been like, where do you get Corsetti track? How can I buy Corsetti track? Oh, I'm buying Corsetti track. Oh my God, the sales must have gone up so much from JMR, which is yeah, this is a much better use for it than the one they advertised. I don't even know why they make it bumpy. They might even switch and try to make smooth instead of like that naturally bumpy track or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like JMR's kind of utilized that bumpy section. I don't think they did it in the remake of the motorway, but in the original motorway, like there was like a boost section, but then like the two sides of the boost had the flat. I'm assuming like the plastic / cardboard, whatever they use for the track, removed. So there's like it's like rough grooves, like they would actually slow the marbles down. So they've utilized the original track to some degree to add some variety every now and again, but not very often. And I think like that, yeah, like either one, like making their own tracks or even purchasing tracks from the Racing Marbles League, because as far as I'm aware, they are selling those on their websites. They are selling,
yeah. And I was gonna mention that too. They are selling. They make really good tracks. That's another thing I have to highlight. Their tracks are actually like, well, equal. I mean, I don't know. Whatever you could compare the two and get really picky about it, but in the general sense, equal to the quality of Marbledrome, Corsetti. They're just good. They're well structured. They're not bulky. They're not odd looking. They look clean. They look structured well, and they do look different. They do look different from the Corsetti rails. Now, for some reason, he went with like he went with a lighter shade of gray, but he still went with the gray color. But he has some other pieces that are brown in color, lighter gray in color, red even. And it's just, he goes so deeper. He goes so much deeper with the features on the track pieces. And it's just something I wish I wish to see more in JMR. Now, you don't want to overdo that, of course, because then you get more of an obstacle course and less of a race, and that's something to be aware of.
Right.
But I don't know. I just think like okay, just one of the little track pieces, because they're about a foot long or something like that. Maybe one of them in a particular track that JMR makes. One of those pieces take the cardboard off the bottom and have the grooves, so all the marbles have to pass over this grooved section once per lap, and it's just a short groove section. It's not going to affect them that much, but it adds a visual appeal of like, wow, there's actually something different going on here, and it does add an element to the race, because now, like, depending on how you go into that groove section and things like that, that's going to affect your speed and your direction, and that could be actually interesting and actually really add a lot to the race. Even just that simple act of like it takes like 3 seconds to go remove the cardboard from one of the pieces. So I harp on about that a lot, but I'm like, we're so good already with JMR. Let's get that extra little step. And that's what I feel the Racing Marble League is doing as far as track design goes. They're going that extra little step to have really cool extra features. So I have to give them credit for that.
Indeed.
Right?
They also sell like their launcher, like so JMR wouldn't need to like have to figure out like design a launcher for themselves. If they wanted to get rid of the conveyor belt, they could like actually just like basically get that, implement that real quick, and like that would work out. I do think like it is important, I guess, maybe not to just completely adapt all of their like track designs and style, because like at that point, then there's no more, like, for one thing, you kind of lose that JMR charm, and also like at that point, like the uniqueness between Racing Marble Leagues and JMR is just really blurred, and it's like, well, then what's the point of the other one existing? Because basically they look and feel very similar, even though like the camera work of JMR and like the teams are always different, will definitely have like their own special feel to them. Like just having them like look the same in terms of track style would I think be also to a detriment. So like basically I'm definitely all for JMR like implementing and using like different track pieces from these other channels that they've created, but don't go overboard with it, I would say.
I agree. I think that one thing you should be aware of, there's a huge distinction between Marbula 1 and Racing Marble League, and that is that Racing Marble League take humans submit a single marble out to the race, and they pay for it, and it's like a sponsorship, and it's a single marble team, as opposed to Marbula 1, which is of course the classic JMR teams from Marble League racing. So be aware that there's a huge structure difference before we get like things saying, oh my god, they're the same thing. And yes, the track designs are different. It would be very weird if JMR just started using the Racing Marble League's tracks. I'm sure the Racing Marble League would love that. That's big publicity for them. But yeah, because then they would look so similar. But I'm more just talking about the principle of changing it up as opposed to actually using the same track. But yeah, and I don't even know if JMR should even change to a marble booster, which is like the thing. Instead of the elevator, they use like a booster for the marbles. I don't know if they should change. I don't know. I think that's a discussion for another episode because there's a lot involved in making that decision. But my first inclination would be not right now at the very least.
I mean, like, I thought we just kind of discussed a long time ago that like, we ultimately prefer the launchers because like it doesn't stop the momentum, so it keeps the gaps the same. So it's like if you earn a giant gap in your lead, like it doesn't get stolen from you by the conveyor belt, or like if you're catching up someone, like that you don't lose that like some of that's the time you gained because you just fell like one section behind on the conveyor belt.
Yeah, that is a initially good point, and I said that point, I think. So I agree with it, but I think there's other factors to consider. And so I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about that in a future episode. I think it's more to it than just that, even though that's like the main thing. So we'll discuss. Best thing is to say, let's table that one for a different episode.
All right.
And actually, I would love to actually get Mel's opinion on that. So we finally are able to get Mel on, and schedules are finally able to work out with him. I'm sure he'll have a lot of interesting opinions on that either way, to say the least. So, yeah. With that being said, yeah, we're gonna get into the bulk here with Pallet Park and all the things going on there. But before that, we'll do a quick trivia segment. We'll do it a little earlier today. Why not? Break things up, try some new things out. So, yeah, let's get to the trivia, and we'll see you on the other side.
Now it's time for the trivia segment. Come on now, let's go, go, go. Go, go, go.
All right, and I think the music has played. Must be funny. Always think it must be funny for the live people who just hear me do this like a millisecond later, like, and they don't hear the music, and then like they're like, okay, well that was a weird transition. But yeah, for y'all listening in the recorded world, the music probably played and transitioned and whatever. So. I think I'll start us off. I have a simple question, but I think it's an important question to note as far as when we talk more about the Pallet Park today. And that is, okay, we know that Yellup pole positioned in the qualifiers. But do you remember where Yellup actually ended up finishing in the race in Pallet Park, the Grand Prix?
Let's see here. I believe Yellup finished... That's a good question. Yellup was... I mean, they were more middle of the pack, actually. How far did they fall, though? I want to say... 7th. Wait. Wait, yeah? Yeah, 7th.
Okay, 7th it is. The answer is actually 11th. So dropped quite a bit. Only 3 points to Mellow Yellow's name after polling. And that's important to note because marbles that can get pole position and then not maintain it like that, it's really disappointing. And it shows, in my opinion, I always say a lack of experience, which is never good. But like it also just shows like a lack of, could be a lack of experience, but also could be like a lack of a motivation, a lack of drive to have the lead and take the lead, maybe a lack of confidence. That's also very possible because leading a race is hard work because you have to be faster than like 20 other marbles and be aware of where they're at. I guess 16 maybe. So it's a lot. It's a lot to handle when you're racing. So it might just be that teams like Mellow Yellow or Jungle Jumpers who had that honor one time just don't have that experience and confidence yet to hold on to the field like that. So I think it's a shame. I would love to have seen Mellow Yellow do well because Mellow Yellow's kind of been disappearing into the woodwork of late as far as their performances. But man, it's been rough to see them drop so low in the field, even when getting pole like that. So yeah, that's the question I have.
All right, well, I have a simple question as well, but I think it's an important one to kind of illustrate like the current situation. So in 2020, wait, 20 it was 2020. I keep like it's so weird. Marbula 1 season 1 happened in the same year.
Up. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, but like in season 1 of Marbula 1, Team Momo didn't do very good at the Motorway, but they did quite a bit better in this year for season 2. And I would like to know, do you know how many places better they did? And I guess as a hint, like it was not the same racer. In season 1, it was Momo. In this season, it was Mimo instead.
Okay. Well, that could be substantial, actually. I remember Momo being terrible season 1 and dragging down your fantasy. I know that for sure. Okay, that is something I do know. I don't remember Momo being a noticeable front runner in the previous Motorway season 2. So I'm going to go with a place difference of I'll go with 6. And I'll go with Momo in season 1 placing 14th, and Momo in season 2 placing, 14 minus 6 would make 8.
All right, so the difference is actually 9, with Momo placing in 16th and Mimo placing in 7th. It's like,
all right.
Like,
well, actually, I wasn't that far off. Like, just I was kind of close.
But
just
I do think that, I think it's important to kind of point that out both because, like, for one thing, that might be a slight indication of what the pit lane being removed, but also think it also shows I guess how much better Mimo is. But like I can't remember, Momo has also been doing well this season as well. Like, can you pull up the individual standings real quick? Because I think
I do have them right here, believe it or not. So yeah, Momo is actually in 6th overall on performance.
So Momo's actually doing better than Mimo so far.
Mimo has a first place though, so that is kind of interesting to note. They started strong. They got 3rd and then 1st and then 4th and then just kind of disappeared. But they haven't been doing bad. So, I don't know. They've been doing okay, but better than Momo would usually do. So that's credit. Right. Credit what credit is due.
And I think that's kind of important to point out because of what's currently happening in the overall standings after the Pilot Park, which I guess we should get into talking about now.
Yeah, so let's get that trivia music playing and head back to the regular episode, I guess. I mean, this is the regular episode, though, right? I mean, we're just in a different segment. So get back to the next segment.
That was the trivia segment. Now let's head back to the show. The show! Oh!
All right, we are back from from the previous segment. Next segment, we're into it. Whatever. You guys know what's going on. We're rolling. We're snowballing. By the way, can I start with that? Because we're doing the Pilot Park stuff now. Snowballs continue to disappoint me, and not really with Snowy, more with Snowstorm. Both of them have been pretty bad. If you look at the overall, Snowy's had some pretty bad races. Snowstorm even worse, 32nd overall. It has been just extremely disappointing to watch the Snowballs compete this year. I guessed wrong. That's something I have to suffer with, unfortunately, and it could knock me out of the top 10. My Marble Sports connoisseurness did not pull through when I was fantasy picking, I guess, this year. I guess wrong with the Snowballs. I thought that their mediocre to above average performance of last year was a signal that they were going to be even better this year. Instead, we see that was the best they could do when they're dropping down. And it's tough to see. It's tough to watch Snowstorm. I know it's a lack of experience for him, and I know he's got potential. But, I mean, unfortunately, you can't even really recognize the team because Snowy is not Snowy's obviously much better, but Snowy's no Speedy. So it's not like we got one amazing racer and one bad racer. It's more like we got one decent racer and one not so decent racer. And it's been tough to watch, especially since I picked them for my ×3. But yeah, Pilot Park, any marbles that stand out to you immediately, Waf, before we do some track rating?
Some certainly do, but more in the qualifiers than the actual race. Like, first of all, the Green Ducks, that was if I'm not mistaken, that was the first time they haven't qualified for a race. But also the Red Eye did terribly this race. Like, wow, they weren't even in the race for pole. That's how bad. They were in the bottom 4 for qualifying, and then by the end, they didn't even get they didn't get a point. They didn't get a single point. That's the first time this entire season that the Cat's Eyes didn't get a single point. And that gave the Speeders such a great chance. If they had just won the race, they would have still been in the running for the podium.
That's interesting to think about because we were actually discussing that last week, and it ended up not working out because Speedy could not overtake one of the best comebacks in Marbula 1 history.
Oh
in a
my
single
gosh!
Race. And we'll
What
get to
a
that in a
play.
moment. But one topic at a time. But yeah, that was atrocious by Red Eye. I think that we have to be careful with that. We can't just immediately get upset at them because they've been so good so far. Every Marble's going to have an off day. And this is a weird track. We're going to get to rating this and discussing that in a second. But this is a very weird track with a very odd structure. So, okay. I want to cut Red Eye a break. Part of me is happy that, because if you remember last week, me and Waff had a quick argument. Who's going to be the overall best between the Crazy Cat's Eyes, Yellow Eye or Red Eye? And guess who did bad this race? Red Eye. So, see, Marble Guy knows something. I figured that Red Eye is not as consistent as Yellow Eye. Red Eye just didn't look like he was as commanding as Yellow Eye out there on the track. He was good, but not the way Yellow Eye is good. So, not to say that Yellow Eye might not also get a 0 next time, but very less likely than Red Eye. So, and it was just tough to see Green Ducks as well, but every good team has their bad days, and both of those teams are in the top 3 right now, and even the Savage Speeders in last season, who won Marbula 1 last season, have 0s up there on the board for a couple or one of the races. So it happens, right? It happens. So
right.
You can't get too upset. I think if we see another 0 next week, then we got to be asking what's going on with the Cat's Eyes, and even more so if we saw a second 0 from Red Eye in his next race, that's going to be a very concerning aspect of this, and that's going to really drag down Red Eye's overall performance average. But outside of that, for this, if in this one singular race, we got to cut him a break, I think.
Okay, I think that's fair. It is quite a big. It's a fairly big deal. I guess they've been running hard this entire season. I guess one thing they could be tired, but also they might be getting. It is important to know that they might be getting cocky, or at least Red Eye is, because that lead is pretty substantial. But if the other 3 teams below them just do not perform very well, even in the next race, that
and the Green Ducks aren't starting very well with that. Yeah.
It's entirely possible that if they win next race and that's it. I think that actually statistically will put them as a guaranteed victor. They'll have won Marbula 1 Season 2 before the last 2 races even are run. So they probably are just they're probably feeling, at least Red Eye is feeling comfortable in his current position, and probably is not.
Yeah, they're go out there, have fun, go out there, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Right. We already got it, and and especially counting on Yellow Eye to win a race one more time. That's pretty good odds. And look at who we got. We second, third, fourth. We have Thunderbolts, Ducks, Momo, and we just talked about how bad Momo's been. In honesty, not nearly as good as they've been better, but they really have not been oh wow. Momo, that's the team I'm thinking of when I think good this season, and they're actually in 4th place, and they only have 2 podiums to their name. So it's the field under Crazy Cat's Eyes is a very low, low hanging skill level right now. So it's kind of Cat's Eyes are up there. They're guys, they're 60, 70, 80 points ahead. Do they even have to worry? And they might even be trying to just conserve some energy, not really give too much effort, and that probably won't come back to bite them because when they look down below them, look who they see down below them. If I'm the Crazy Cat's Eyes, I look lower than first place. I see Thunderbolts. I'm not worried about the Thunderbolts. When am I ever going to be worried about the Thunderbolts? I see Green Ducks, maybe a little worried, but then I see them not qualify for this race. So Red Eye's already okay, well, probably the biggest threat is not a big deal. Team Momo, I'm not worried. And I don't see Savage Speeders till 5th place. And I see how bad Rapidly's doing, how just absolutely awful Rapidly's doing. And I'm like not worried at all. So, well, if they get 0 the next 3 races, that's not a good thing. And that could jeopardize their winning. I mean, 1-0, I mean, come on. You got to look from their perspective. They're not feeling stressed right now. They're feeling like can somebody at least try to win besides us, right?
Yeah, so,
like 4 wins.
One of our fans pointed out that apparently all the Cat's Eyes need to do is to get 6th place next race to get the championship. And I guess to put in perspective, Momo, so if Momo got all first in the next 3 races, that'd be 75 points. That would bring them up to a total of 154, which is just 1 point above the Cat's Eyes' current score. So basically, and if if they pulled every qualifier and got the fastest lap on all three of those last races, that'd be 6 more points. So they can get a max of 160. So that's only 7 points higher than them. So like the cat's eye is like even like for at least for that lowest point there, like can quite easily beat out Momo. But looking at the Thunderbolts instead, I guess,
it's only a
75
few more
points to
points.
that.
So it's like the cat's eyes pretty much need to. I mean, the only way the cat's eyes can really lose is if they get like under 10th place all of the next 3 races. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Yep. Max score for Thunderbolts is 165. So like that gap is very small. Like the cat's eyes
and the
have
Thunderbolts
to
haven't even won a race yet. That's the problem right now. The Thunderbolts do not have the sense of I guess confidence or speed or commanding racing technique to win a race in Marbula 1, and they're second place. So if I'm the Crazy Cat's Eyes right now, I'm not worried at all because our second place, Green Ducks won 1, Momo won 1. But even looking below me, just below me is a team that does not even have that sense of racing ability to even win a race in Marbula 1.
Right, but
so it's just not even worth even worrying about. And I get that. Don't be cocky. It's not a good way to act out there in the field. Think anything can happen in marble sports, but I can see why they're not worried.
Well, it's also important. Like the Thunderbolts and even Momo don't statistically have to win every race to win. Like, so let's say Momo won the next 2 and then got second on the last one. That'd be 70 points instead.
But they have to win 2.
That would put them at 149 points. So then they would have to get 5. They would need 5 more points to win. So so it's technically statistically possible to only get second in one of these next races and still win, but it's extremely unlikely. The top 4 teams also actually they're also like they did at the end of the video, like they kind of highlighted in purple the teams who are also in contention for most fastest laps, and the top 4 are all in that contention still. So those top 4 teams are also ones who have proven that they are really fast, and so the chances of getting a fastest lap point is actually fairly high for those teams.
Yeah. I agree. Here's my thing. Here's the real, in my opinion, the nail in the coffin in what we're talking about right now. I'm looking right now at the individual rankings. Okay? Individual rankings. Obviously, you see Crazy Cat's Eyes top those rankings. First place, Red Eye. That's going to change because Yellow Eye is not going to get 0 points next race. If Yellow Eye gets 0 points next race, I will not say marble on once for the whole podcast, something like that. I don't know. I'll do something crazy because he's totally going to get points next race. This is not going to happen. So they top the first 2.
Right.
But then if you look at teams 2 through 5 in the rankings. Okay? Thunderbolts. Boom. Perfect example. They have a racer in 4th place. That's very impressive. Great job, Bolt, for getting in 4th place. Where is the next Thunderbolt racer? Nowhere to be seen in the top 16, and I'm not even going to scroll down on this page to find where he is. Because if the next, if you're a top 5 team and your 2 marbles are not in the top 16 overall, then your chances of beating the Crazy Cat's Eyes are 0. They just are. Because this is a team sport. You need both of your racers to be good. You need both of your racers to be able to have a good opportunity to podium on any given race. And so when WAF puts out those amazing statistics out there that a team in 2nd to 5th is going to need to do 1st place twice, 2nd place once, maybe even 1st once and 2nd twice, but all these other random extra pole and lap points. I mean, you got to have marbles in the top 16 to do that.
Mm-hmm.
At least to have the likelihood of that. You can take a look at Savage Speeder, Speedy in 3rd. I mean, Rapidly, I know, is at the actually very bottom. He's 40th. Billy,
the only teams
5th?
I just based on that statistic, like the 2 teams that have the highest chance in the top 4 of beating or is the second top 3, if that's the right term, would be Momo and the Ducks, because they both have their marbles in the top 16.
Yeah, and they're 12th and 13th.
And
okay,
they're next to each other too. Like Mimo and Billy are pretty similar in terms of their stats, as well as
Mimo and
Mallard and Momo.
Mallard.
Momo and Billy are similar, and then Mallard and Mimo are very similar in points. So they're both like equal to each other. So like it's actually gonna be a pretty interesting battle, I think, between the Thunderbolts and Momo for at least second place. Yeah. I think that's where the battle's gonna be.
I agree with that. I think, and that's based on what we just said here. That's why I think the Thunderbolts are not actually likely to take second. I would put it on the Green Ducks or Momo, because yes, I mean, and so, for the Thunderbolts, big deal. They don't even have their second marble in the top 16. But even for the Green Ducks and for Momo, when you're looking at Red Eye first, Yellow Eye second, you got Mallard at 12th and Mimo 13th. So they're still in that top 16. They're still in that top half, and they're still a really good racing marble. But I mean, to be able to get the next 3 races to have any chance of you getting first, second, first, something like that, you need more than that. You need Mallard or Mimo in a top 10 racing place. And that's just something we don't see. And so, yes, they're going to battle well for second. I honestly, if I'm going to throw it out there, Green Ducks are your second place team this year. That's just what it's going to be. That's what I think. I see Momo third. Momo third. I see Thunderbolts fourth, but maybe third. So we'll see that.
I think that's a pretty good prediction. Well, I think it would be absolutely phenomenal if there's actually a legitimate battle for that first place spot. I think what we all cool. I am already kind of ready to accept that the Cats are going to win. So I'm actually more interested in seeing this battle for second. That's what I'm really interested in seeing. Actually, can we So I think the 3 teams below the Cats only have 1 fastest lap point each. Do you know which marbles have those fastest lap points? Can you check that?
I do not. Is this like this is a check thing, not a trivia thing?
Yeah, no. I'm assuming it would be Mimo and Billy, right? I would think it would be them.
Okay, well, Billy has a 26, so he has 1. Speedy has a 26, so he has 1.
Momo has 21.
21, right? Yeah.
So it's Momo and Billy.
And
then
I don't know why
the
they
Bolt.
italicized that.
Oh, Bolt. Yeah, Bolt has it too. Bolt has a 21. Yeah. So the ones who got the fastest lap on their teams is Bolt, is Momo and Billy, the top 3 of each of their teams. So yeah, I guess statistically that just kind of correlates up there. The marble who has the fastest laps are the ones who are placing the best.
Yeah, because of what it shows is that they have speed, and then unlike other marbles, because there's other marbles with speed, Raspberry Racers have speed, Savage Speeders have speed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and there are other teams that you could name of speed like Hazers, but they have Hazy's in 8th, so you got to give them credit. But there's other teams with speed. They know how to use that speed out in the race. They know how to use that speed when going up against other marbles in a race situation. That's your difference. That's your difference between honestly, that's the difference between Billy and Mallard. That's the difference between Momo and Mimo. And that's why Crazy Cat's Eyes are in the space they are, because all those marbles have speed. And honestly, if you I'm looking at the screen in front of me. Of course, I always like to remind you guys, if you're listening to the show and you go over to the YouTube channel, you get the visual aspect. I'm looking at the ranking, top 15 marbles right here. I would go as far as to say all 15 marbles in the top 15 have speed. That's not even an argument that I think that is worth talking about. I mean, they do. They're the fastest. They're racing in Marbula 1 and JMR. They are the elitist marbles on the planet. They all have speed. The difference is the Crazy Cat's Eyes have 2 marbles on their team that know how to use that speed. They know how to go out there on the track and not just be fast, but be fast at the right times. Be fast in the right places. Be aware of the positions of other marbles on the track and use that to their advantage to be fast at the right times. As opposed to some of the other teams where it seems only one marble has that ability. I mean, Rapidly, I don't even want to talk about. But, I mean, Bolt, Billy, Momo seem to be the marbles with that ability, but it kind of drops down into, less overall awareness and talent to Mallard and Mimo. They have speed, but they're not able to use it as well, and I think that's experience.
Actually, can you look at from in the top 16 or the bronze places? I'm seeing 16s instead of 15s, which if I'm not mistaken means that they also got fastest laps. So Mallard also has a fastest lap point.
No. 17 is with the fastest lap bronze.
Is it? Or is that 17? I think 17 is remember, fastest lap is also combined with you just get a point for polling. So maybe they have 2 points bonus there. Because I thought 15 points was for third place.
I don't see any 15s on here. I don't see any.
Exactly, which was what I'm saying. I think that 16 indicates that they got a fastest lap, right?
But they're.
They're
because
none.
When they bold. Okay, I see how it is. When they bold the number, that means fastest lap, I believe. Wait, let me check that.
There's probably a legend at the bottom.
Oh, pole position is bold. Italic is fastest lap. Okay, so sorry, we're reading it a little long. So actually, so pole, your top 4 here, Speedy, Bolt, Billy all got pole. While Momo was the only one up here to actually get a fastest lap. Bolt got fastest lap, but he got 5 points in that race for some reason. 16 is the normal bronze points for this year. That was different from last year, actually, a little bit, I think. maybe.
Interesting. Yeah, okay, that does change a few things, I suppose. I didn't know it was 16 points for third. That's a very strange number to go with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see that how it makes sense though. Speedy, Bolt, Billy, some of your best racers, they can get pole position. Pole position is expected. I expect at least one pole position from those names during the course of a full Marbula 1 season. Now, in the other side of the coin, if you look at the Crazy Cat's Eyes, we have no pole positions from them, which even bolsters the point I just made that they're fast and they may not get the pole position, but they're fast marbles, but they know how to use the speed. So yeah, they're not going to start in first all the time, but they know how to use the speed. And you saw Yellow Eye do it in race 1. He was not pole race 1. He was high up there, he was like second, but he was not pole. But he came out there and he commanded that lead the full time. That's the kind of confidence you see from a veteran team that's been around a long time, like the Crazy Cat's Eyes. That's the kind of thing you see from a team that just has raw speed. People discount the Crazy Cat's Eyes because they're not super great in Marble League because they have to do weird things like underwater race and long jump and high jump and curling. I mean, there's a lot of difficulty in all those things. I mean, remember, we saw the Bumblebees do good in high jump in the last Marble League. I mean, that's odd. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, when you get out there on the track and it's just racing, the Crazy Cat's Eyes are a veteran team who know what they're doing and not just being fast, but using the speed well. So,
have they been doing good in 5-meter sprints and stuff, or?
I'm not aware of that. I feel like from what I remember, and I could be wrong about this, I feel like from what I remember, they do well at more raw speed events than they do like the weird long jump stuff. But I'd have to look into that.
They've been doing so good at racing this season that I feel like maybe they are like just a racing team, but like there have been racing based events just based on speed in the Marble.
Yeah, but they're
League.
different. They're different, and don't forget they don't get pole position. Crazy Cat's Eyes have not gotten pole position once. So remember, it's not necessarily just racing. It's racing in the context of with other marbles, right? So
that's true. Like drafting is a thing that they can do here, but they can't do that in 5-meter sprint.
Yeah, and even just slight collisions and just knowing when marbles are going to take bad routes in front of you, so you know what routes to take. I mean, that's all part of it. And so I definitely I don't know. Crazy Cat's Eyes are more skilled in this particular area. It carries over decently to like sprint events, but I think maybe we'll keep a closer eye on them this year. Into the Marble League. But with that being said,
before we talk about before we talk about the Midnight Wisps, man, like for individuals, like the battle for the top individual marble is still actually fairly in contention. Like I'm assuming Speedy was the one who won it last year, right?
Oh yeah, in spades.
So Speedy can still be the first repeat individual team too. Still,
that would
that's
be
still something
great.
That they can fight for.
Oh, that would be so good. Now that you mention that, that would be awesome. If the Savage Beaters always find a way to be annoying and win something, that would be. Wouldn't that be awesome? So even in the Savage Beaters' bad year, they find a way to be a repeat champion of something.
Yeah, something.
I actually want to see that now. I want to see that now.
That'd be hilarious.
And with Red Eye getting 0 points in this race, oh my god, bro. This could happen. We actually could see Savage Beaters have the first repeat single marble victor, which would mean that the Savage Beaters came away from this not empty.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about like who's actually in contention for top individual. Like still, is it just the top 6?
Just the top 4. Not even the top 6. I mean, like Billy and Momo would have to literally win their next 2 races.
So for Momo, let's say they got. Oh wait, Momo is only gonna be racing how many more times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. One more. Only one more? Did they double up?
Yes.
Wait, did they double up?
No, they didn't double up. He's racing once more though because he was started and there's only 12 races, so he started at 1.
So Momo can only get 25 plus 2 max, so 27 points max.
And same with Billy, because Billy doubled up. So Billy only got 1 through 2 because each racer was 6 times. So if you look at Speedy has not doubled up, and so he's 1 more. Red Eye only has 1 more. Yellow Eye is the most likely winner, unfortunately, with 2 more. So Speedy would have to like podium and win next race. No, Bolt's doubled up here. Look, so he only has 1 more.
No. Bolt's only at 5. Oh, you're right. No, Bolt's got 5 on here right now, so they still have 1 more race they can do.
Yeah, but he has 66, so I guess it's possible. But okay. If Speedy has a good next race, final race and Yellow Eye has one bad race, there's a chance Speedy could win. But Yellow Eye is likely to take this. He's got 2 more races, and I would bet money that he doesn't score 0 in either of them. So, I mean, he is your best Marbula 1 racer. In my opinion, I think you're looking at the best one when you talk about Yellow Eye. So,
yeah, I mean, just after that pole that Red Eye had in race 7, like definitely in race 4, actually, it did kind of change things for me. But like with that recent performance, Yellow Eye is definitely looking like the more distinguished racer, even with like the fact that they have 2 golds and a bronze as compared to Red Eye's 2 golds and a silver.
Right. No. Yeah. 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 I think that's the okay. That is part of being like a marble sports analysis. It's not just about looking at the numbers. Right. A lot of people just look at numbers. A lot of people just come here like, okay, well, Red Eye's a little bit better, so he's a little better. No, it's about looking at how they race. More than that. So when you have so close numbers like Red Eye and Yellow Eye, I mean, like, come on, they both have 2 first places, so they're both good. We know that. All right. Well, who races better when we watch them? And in my opinion, Yellow Eye has a more commanding tone to his racing. He has a more dexterous movement. And that's why I picked him, and I think it's going to work out. And when you watch him race, he's better at taking advantage of the other marbles' mistakes. He's better at being aware of where the other marbles are, and that's part of it. So it's a small difference. I mean, Red Eye is a really good racer. You cannot knock him. He's in first place right now. But, I mean, if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, I think Yellow Eye is your more consistently good cat's eye racer. So
Indeed.
With that being said, we have not rated the track yet, so let's talk about the track. Let's rate the track, and then we'll touch on the Midnight Wisps as we bring this one to a close.
I guess I'll start us off. So it's meant to look like a palette, and like the general shape does, but like the overall size doesn't isn't the same, I guess, roundness to it. I suppose they didn't want to make it too big because and I can definitely see how like that could cause a lot of problems. But looking at the design, like having that like at the first ramp, like having like that guide go and like it's so dead center in the middle, like I'm trying to figure out why they did that, because marbles could still jump over it and then go down the ramp, and like so I don't think there was a risk of them getting stuck on the big bank turn. I'm not really sure what the purpose of trying to force most marbles down the left side of the ramp was. It just seemed kind of very strange to me. The track, because of its shape, almost looks more like an M, which makes it feel like more like a mellow yellow track in a way. I did kind of like the sculpture in the background. The fact that it works out so well, that's pretty nice. But in terms of like, I guess I actually think I was actually kind of a fan of how short the race was. It kept you on your toes, so it didn't overstay its welcome, because I think that actually worked out to its favor. This is probably one of the more entertaining races. We didn't really mention. We're gonna mention like how like the Midnight Wisp made a big comeback, but like Momo also was on their way to making a big comeback too. They kind of fell back towards the end, but like there's a lot of fighting. Like despite inevitably we did have the blue flag situation, which I completely saw coming, but like not nearly as bad as I expected it to be. I thought it would happen a lot more. So like even though this track was so short, the marbles were still constantly in contention for different positions at the almost throughout the entire race. Like you could never count out the Wisps or Momo like in the middle of the race. Like it was still like up in the air of who was gonna get where. So I guess for a number, design I'm not really a big fan of, but in terms of I guess the performance, I think really more than makes up for it. I'd say maybe a 7. That'd be a little bit generous, but I'm feeling 7 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. Absolutely. And for a very simple reason, you guys know that I've been very, very kind of focused on taking tracks to the next level, right? You know, not just putting Marble Drum track out there in a different shape, but doing something different that actually makes, it contributes to the race on the track, not just putting more decorations around it, but putting things on the track. Now, I personally think, and this might be the first time, it might not be the first time this has happened, you might have to check me on this, but I think that if you look about halfway through the first sector, when you have that chevron that divides the track into 2 lanes, not just for a second, but for a full 3 pieces of straight plus a full turn, I think that was a really big deal for me. That was one of the biggest contributing factors to why this race was so exciting. You saw lots of passing, lots of speed change, lots of direction change because of that lane split. Marbles that took that inside line would gain 2-3 places sometime, and have a lot of speed going out of that, which would help them a lot into the coming lap. So every single lap was meaningful, and even with some leads developing, you never stratified too much. You never got too boring out there because there was always that one place where if you take the inside line and the other marble takes the outside line, there's a lot of ground gained there. And that's something that I know that's a small thing. You know, they didn't theme those obstacles, but that's something that I'm talking about. Like, even just that addition is a huge deal for how the race was to be exciting. Because if they did what they normally do and just put that little red and white thing on the border of the turn, then it's not nearly as exciting a race. It's actually a boring race because there's not much changing up. There's not much speed changes. It's just like a hairpin, then a bank turn, which was not bad, by the way. I do like the bank turn, and then their hairpin. So I think that should be called out. That's really important. I do like the track design. I think it's interesting. The straights and the hairpins. I think it looks a lot different than a lot of other tracks, so it stands out. It's a track I won't forget, which you know, whether you actually do what I would love and theme the track with your obstacles and stuff like that, or you just make it, if you choose such a weird shape that you can't forget it, that's important. And this shape is memorable, so I think it's a big deal. I like the speed of the track. You have a lot of straights. I like the bank turn. I feel like the bank turn is in an odd place. I don't know why they don't have banked hairpins. I don't know why they don't do that. They only did that in the first race, and they kind of stayed away from that. I don't know why, but they should have more of those. But I'm glad they included it. So yeah, this is just overall a really good track. And it's a 9 out of 10. You're not going to get a 10 out of 10 into me until I see some primaries touch right on the track. Like, I don't know. I mean, literally as far as coloring the track pieces, so they're primary colors. But what if you had some?
You know, hearing what you said, and like also watching the race on the screen right now, like this is some of the fastest paced and most engaging racing that I think this entire season. So, you know, I think I bumped up to an 8 out of 10. I also I didn't mention, but Greg Woods' tower is also a primary theme. They changed that up too. So off the track stuff, they did some things to add some primary theming to it. So, you know,
agreed.
Give them some props for that.
I think the outside the track theming was great this time. I really love the primary sculpture. I love it. It's just cute and awesome and really adds to the experience. I like the Greg's tower is a primary colored. That stuff is great. That stuff is great. Or some towers primary colored. I don't know if that's Greg or just the official sitting there.
You might be right. Where is Greg?
Yeah, it looks like the official. I think Greg's on the side. So, but they have they have nice theming. It almost feels like if you gave Team Primary the task of creating a course, that this is exactly what they would come up
I see
with.
Greg now.
9 out of 10 feels like that. Oh, yeah, you see Greg? Oh, yeah, he's on the left, right?
Yeah, he's next to this. He's in the left stands on the far right side of it. You'll see him.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see him too. I see him.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I guess we need to talk about the Wisps. Oh, yeah. Dude, that was amazing.
Dude, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how it happened. But it just a slow climb. And that is something that is not possible on every track. That is true. And I think one of the contributing factors to the Wisp being able to do that is being so good on that divided track piece that goes right to the curve. Because there were, I'd have to look at the race to really get an idea. But you might find that the Midnight Wisps were very consistently taking that inside line to the first sector in that one turn. And so that could be a big deal for that. So I don't know.
Brendan?
Yep.
So I think YouTube didn't like having so much JMR footage this time for some reason. The stream just went down for...
Did it actually?
Yeah, this is weird. We've had JMR footage a lot, plenty of times. So I'm sorry for our YouTube watchers, but we can't stop because we're running out of time. So we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Lime was pretty slow, but they interrupted.
Lime is always bad. They almost got overlapped again.
Yeah, they actually got a blue flag for interfering with Waspy. But Waspy still managed to win, so I think that's okay. And if Waspy had did not win, that might have been like a or did Limelight block Speedy or Waspy?
I think Waspy.
Okay, so if that's the case, then it didn't affect the race too much, but yeah, I think I wish I could watch it right now, but the YouTube just went down.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's hard to. I don't know.
We were literally on the lap too that was gonna happen on. So I was like, oh, I'm waiting. I was like watching it this entire time. Okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah, we want to look at that, but for some reason, this really weird thing to happen. Yeah, I mean, in truth, overall, of course, Waspy, that was just really impressive. Unfortunately, they're not super consistent as a team, but I mean, I think that the Midnight Wisps are often overlooked. They kind of do that though, because the Wisp will do that stuff. They'll do like a crazy comeback, but then you'll not really hear from them again for another like 17 races. So it's like, we notice them and then we forget them. But my stream is no longer being blocked due to copyright issues. So here we go.
Hey, that's
guys.
great. I mean,
we're back.
Your face cam is still working.
I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I might pull up the video. I might try it again next time, and if it happens again, just not be able to show the videos, but I'll always be able to show fantasy stuff, stats. Unfortunately, fantasy has not been updated yet. So
I think it had more to do with how long the footage was on the screen. I think we generally before we've jumped around more often, so I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, was the sound wasn't playing? Hopefully, I'm assuming. I don't think it was.
No,
so.
I don't have the sound on for that. So I mean, that's weird, guys, but it's done, I guess.
Yeah. But the Wisps, they did incredible. I guess, can we try pulling up the footage now to see what happened on that 20 lap 22 or 23? Who got blocked?
I'm not gonna touch the footage anymore today. We're gonna just be aware of that. I actually do remember it because I watched the race not too long ago. Lime, I think it was Waspy, just in front, kind of like in the previous couple races ago when there was that overlapping situation. Just not letting him pass and stuff like that, and just like that display of unsportsmanlike conduct. Interesting that the track was so fast and so interesting that we had overlapping situations. So we got to give credit to that too. That's good. But yeah, guys, we're getting towards the end of the episode, so let's get through our emails for the week and we'll get out of here. Of course, please, if we missed anything you want to talk about from this race, you can email in mswpodcast@gmail.com, and you can be like these people who are emailing in their thoughts. So we have one from Alex this week and one from Richard, so we'll do his first. Richard, writing in about Marble Comics, he says, what do you think if they did a comic showing what the Marbles are doing between the Marble events?
I feel like, didn't I see something like that before? I feel like I've seen something like that before. I don't think it was official, but it was fan created. I know Piney,
like unofficial stuff. Yeah, like a lot of like
Piney does fan art of like marbles at on snow ski resorts or eating eating at a restaurant. So there are fans who do stuff like that, but I don't know if there'll ever be official. I guess the rollouts technically add official lore for what they do, but comic wise, I mean, that's certainly a possibility. That maybe the magazine with a comic strip that you could try and figure out that I could see it happening, but I'm not sure when. I think it's more of a fan has to kind of approach them with the idea and then see if they can work it out.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think that would be really cool, though. I really do think that would be cool. I feel like that kind of like Waf said, it's kind of happening. There's fan art, so you kind of get a gist, but an official thing, an official comic focusing maybe one team per week, what they're talking about in the locker room, what they're talking about between events. I would be fine with that. I think that would be very interesting. It would just add to the experience. You feel like the teams aren't just the teams on the Saturday when you watch the video, but they're the teams all the time. So I think that would just be an added value. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not, there's a lot of fan art out there, so I think it's not the end of the world. But cool idea. All right, and the final email for tonight, today, whenever you're listening to this, Alex is cool. Sends in Ricochet. Ricochet, get it? I mean, Moff, you gotta get it at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Ricochet. I'm not even gonna explain it right now. The episode, I'm just too tired after all this episoding to explain that again. But I mean, if you want me to, I'll do it. Okay, fine. It's like marbles when
Brandon,
they bump off things.
I have to go to work.
And the announcer, Rick O'Shea, is playing on that word ricochet by turning it into a first, middle, initial, last name situation. Rick O'Shea. So there you go. All right, so Alex says, I'm going to be backlogged on emails for a while as my mom has taken away my iPad for a long time. Oh, well, that sucks. I'm sorry about that, and I hope that is not as bad as it seems. I don't know what to say. It sucks. I remember when I was younger, that would happen to me too a little bit. When I do something wrong, you just lose your video games or whatever. So it sucks. It's just like a tough time to get through as you're bored most of the time. Yeah, so so he sent this email last week, by the way, but he had another one last week. We're backlogged, like he said, so I'm reading this one this week to give you more Alex. However, I'm going to send multiple emails, and please read one of the weekly emails each week, and that he did. The first email is how I was rejected because you love to see me suffer. Yep, we read that one. Unfortunate. A girl by the fake name of Quillo, her real name is pretty close. Oh yeah, I remember this. He came up with a fake name for fun. Was the cool, and she sat right next to me in the math, and we talk sometimes. For Valentine's Day, I made her a card with some flowers and a little pack of Starburst. When I got home, she blocked me and everything. Oh my god! So no happy ending here.
Yeah, that's a bit of a downer. I don't. It's hard to tell with Alex sometimes when he's being serious, when he's making a joke.
I think he's being serious here.
Like if it's serious, I'm sorry about that. If she blocked you over just giving her candy, she was not worth it.
Yeah, that is true. So you gave her. Man, I don't understand people these days. I forget what is he in high school, like freshman or something?
He's not even 13 yet.
Okay, so he might be really young, but
middle school probably.
So I don't know. Middle school, early high school, like dating stuff is just ridiculous and confusing. So, I don't know. Advice. There's not much I can do now because this happened like 2 weeks ago, but 3, 4. But I would say that if you see her, the best thing to do, especially since because I mean, in the situation right now. You don't have a lot of chance with this girl for some reason. I don't know why. But you should find out why she did that. You should try to find out why. Because that might, for a couple reasons. First of all, maybe by addressing her on that, you might be able to work things out. Maybe. You never know. Not saying anything is always not a good way to handle things.
Yeah.
But also, even if you aren't able to work things out into a positive ending for this tough story, just maybe asking her and maybe getting some sort of response of like why that even happened, you might be able to know that for the future. Like maybe, maybe because she might say maybe, I don't feel like I knew you that much, so a Valentine's gift would have been weird, because if you only talked to this girl in math class, then and you didn't talk any other times after that, then that might be weird. But if you talked a lot after that and you felt like you had a much closer relationship with this girl, and then she still did that, then I'd be very confused. Maybe she just didn't know how to respond to someone being nice like that because you guys are so young, and just got scared. And maybe really is kind of waiting for you to really address this and hopefully try to talk it out. So I would say your best chance or best way to learn for the future what not to do is to really ask her, okay, why'd you do that? What's going on? Say it in better words than I'm giving you. But
be polite, definitely.
Yeah, and just, try to get some information at least, and maybe things even work out. You guys are young. I a lot of times, I've seen times where like young people have made drastic decisions over little things, but then like made up really quickly and actually ended up really good because they talked it out, and they just didn't know what to do at first, but then like things are always better once you guys face to face talk it out. So that would be I would recommend. Yes, it's gonna be hard. But I guarantee you that there will be a lot of general respect for you if you were able to do that. Now, I don't know if it's too late because it's like a month later, so that'd be it might be too late. But in the future, if that happens to you and you're confused, well, then try to address it within the week. I don't know. That's my advice. Wolf, what do you think?
I don't know if it's if this story is like how old the story is, but like. I think definitely you need to like actually start working out because like, if you're sitting next to her in math, it's just gonna be very awkward like every single day, like 5 days a week. You're just sitting there and like you just have this awkward tension between you. So at the very least, try and work out a friendship just so that like it doesn't like just get awkward. I think that'd be the best.
I would say that's good advice as well. Waff the dating guy. Yes. So, anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Always a pleasure to bring you guys Marble Sports in all of its glory. And remember to write in. I mean, I can't stress it enough. For all the people that weekly watch, and there are a bunch of you, I could not fit the magnitude of people that watch this show in my house even. It's just there's a lot of people. So it's not millions, crazy. But it's a bunch. And y'all should email in so we can talk about anything, and marbles primarily. Primary palette part. With that being said, Waff, take us out for the week, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Roll on, Marble Sports fans.